Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894. I'm Hugh and I've got Joe here with me for a brand new video. Now, we made a transfer video yesterday and it's starting to hot up. We could be saying goodbye to one of our favourite players and we could be saying hello to a new one as well. Let's get into it. Okay, so according to reports in recent days, it is becoming apparent that Bernardo Silva, one of the fan favourites of this team for many years now, is wanting out from the club. I know, big shock. We do not want to say goodbye to Bernardo. He's given us so many fantastic moments, so much energy over the past few years through winning trophies, etc. And now it's looking like that could be coming to an end. I suppose before we talk about the ins and outs of it, Joe, what do you think the significance of Bernardo Silva leaving City means?
Well, there was the whole thing of towards the start of the season where these Messi rumours were here. It was, we could use Bernardo as a leverage here. And then there's, if a striker was to come in, you look at the team that we think is our strongest at the moment. We sign a striker. Bernardo is the most likely to make way if to accommodate another player coming in. So that and the fact that the last few years, he just hasn't really been a nailed-on starter. He's a fan favourite, but Pep just prefers other players, so I can see him wanting to leave. We'd still get a bit of money for him. He's not, you can replace him. He's not irreplaceable.
I think he's a fan favourite because he's been a part of a team that's given us so much, so many trophies. But I think from his personal perspective, you would feel slightly hard done by. Obviously, last summer we wanted to bring in, what was it, 33-year-old Messi, 34-year-old Messi, whatever it was, and we were going to use him as leverage. And now this summer has come along, and all of a sudden his name is being used as a make way for Jack Grealish signing. So he's going to feel like, I'm not particularly wanted at this club. I don't start as many games as I'd like. And a player as good as him, who's won multiple Premier Leagues, I think he's won the Nations League, he's won with Portugal, he's a top player, Bernardo Silva, and he definitely deserves to be playing starting 11 football week in, week out. But anyway, we have some tweets here that we thought are quite useful to explain the scenario and where we're at right now in this whole sort of saga. I've got one from Duncan Castles here. Atletico Madrid have offered Man City the opportunity to sign Saul Niguez in a deal in which Bernardo Silva would move to the Liga Champions. Atletico values Saul at 70 million, while Silva requested to leave Man City before the last summer window. So that kind of, explains the fact that Bernardo probably wanted to leave last summer when he realised that Messi was preferred over him at the club, and Bernardo being a younger player, he may feel, I'm good enough to stay. I don't understand why they want Messi to take my place. What do you make of that tweet and the whole Saul Niguez thing? I don't think he's someone we really need. I think we'd rather take the money, maybe a 70 million fee for Bernardo and use that elsewhere.
They're two different players. I think I saw something about his numbers compared to Bernardo's numbers, and Saul is much better defensively, but Bernardo's an attacking player, so it's not the same position. He's more of, I would value him more as a Fernandinho replacement, but if he's going to sign on, we don't need one. So I wouldn't really be interested in Saul that much. I'd be more interested in a Grealish or an Aouar, someone who's a bit more creative, someone who's a bit more attacking. They've both got similar market values, so I could see the whole point behind a swap, but I just don't think we need a player like Saul. I think if you can just get the cash, you get the cash and go for someone who fits a bit more, who's more of a direct replacement.
I'm in the same boat, mate. I think a player swap is not suitable for Bernardo Silva. And it's funny you mentioned Jack Grealish because he's next on the agenda. Jack Grealish is who Man City are focusing on as an attack and midfield replacement for Bernardo Silva. He's extremely high on their list, and they believe there is a real possibility of signing him and pairing him with Foden. So obviously Grealish is one of the shining stars of the Premier League at the moment. He is believed to be one of the future stars of English football in general. Pep Guardiola, I think, has been a big admirer of him for a while. Grealish has made it clear himself he's a big admirer of Pep and De Bruyne and now Foden, and of course the way Man City play as well. And I'm starting, as this whole saga starts to unfold, I'm starting to believe, or I think many of you would also believe, that City are basically looking at getting rid of Bernardo to make room for someone like Grealish, and that's kind of leads back to the whole player swap thing. I think City would much rather Atletico or whoever it is comes in for Bernardo to just pay 70-75 million up front, and City can use that money towards getting Jack Grealish, because if Villa won 100 million, which the next tweet says here is, if Man City sign a striker this summer, a move for Jack Grealish would rest on one of their existing attackers leaving. If no striker arrives, it's possible they can move for Jack Grealish regardless of whether the players depart. It might take a fee of 100 million. So let's say Villa actually do want 100 million for Jack Grealish. fair enough. He is a top player, and I don't know whether you think he's 100 million or not. But if we were to get 75 million for Bernardo, you're only putting 25 million on top of that again, then to get Jack Grealish for essentially 25 million. And I think Jack Grealish is more than capable of filling the boots of Bernardo, and he can play a whole bunch of positions. What do you feel about the idea? What do you think about the idea of essentially swapping out Bernardo to bring in Grealish?
I think it's a very good swap deal. There's a few people who don't want him. I don't see it at all. His numbers are amazing in a mid. Let's not beat around the bush here. That Villa side, for how good it is, it finished mid-table. You know, it's a side that you probably expect to finish mid-table. His numbers are really good. He's a regular England international. He normally plays. I think he normally should start. But that's a whole different matter. He's just. He could play so many different positions. Like Bernardo could play many positions. But I just think they have different qualities. Bernardo Silva's a player who is very good on the ball. He's very good when he's got the ball. He can dribble past a few players. He's very good at holding on to it, and he runs about a lot. I think with Grealish, his creative numbers are better. He's definitely a more creative player when it comes to creating chances. So I think if you're only going to pay a net 25 million, if you get 70, 75 for Bernardo, I think it's a no-brainer, really, personally.
I think it is too, and the scary thing is for fans that aren't fans of City or Villa is that if Pep gets his hands on Jack Grealish, I have full faith that Pep can get another 15-20% out of Grealish, make him an even better player. And I think he is quite a Pep player, Grealish. He sees the game really well, he reads the game really well, and he's also got something that not many of our players have, bar maybe Ferran Torres, which is real aggression, direct running, and he's got a great eye for goal as well. So I think it's a really interesting one. The possibility of losing not a club legend, but definitely a fan favourite for quite a while now in Bernardo Silva, to bring in Jack Grealish. And I know sometimes fans are a little bit hostile to bring in English players because maybe there's a tendency to feel let down, but I think Jack Grealish has proved through performances for Villa and slightly a little bit for England as well whenever he's got game time, that he's more than capable of playing at the highest level, and I think he could be a massive piece to our jigsaw in maybe getting our hands on that Champions League or winning more Premier Leagues, and I think that's what Grealish wants, and he sees City as the best place to do so. So we want him to come on and just make a quick video and give our thoughts on this thing. I think I stand in the boat where I would love to see Grealish come to City. It would be sad to say bye to Bernardo, but football is all about progression and moving forward, and it's exciting. It's very exciting seeing players come in, come out, and you just have to accept that. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. How do you feel about Bernardo leaving? If it does happen, obviously nothing's confirmed, but Atletico have put a firm interest on him. Leave your thoughts down below. Are you happy to see him go? And what do you think of the possibility of signing Jack Grealish for around 20-25 net, depending on what you could get for Bernardo, because it would be to make way for Jack Grealish if we're to let go of Bernardo. So yes, leave a like on the video as well. Subscribe if you're new on the road to 300. Help us out there if you would. The link to the Discord down below as always, and we'll see you very, very soon.